Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I make some of the components for my junk journals. And here's a sneak peek of what's coming up. So as you can see, I like to add a lot of little snippets of little things, and I like these this gauze looking stuff, right? And you can buy like mummy cloth and stuff like that, buy already colored stuff. And see, this is just a paper clip that I decorated here to go in my junk journal. But today I want to show you how I get this colored gauze to kind of go with my designs. Because I do like a cohesive color scheme. And what I have here, and ignore the cotton balls because I experimented with those and they don't dye very well. But this is just normal medical gauze. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it out. And you don't have to open it out, but if you do, you get, a little bit better coverage because there's a lot of material there by the time you get it open. Probably a good maybe 18 inches square. And so what I will do is I will get out my personal splat box here, and it's a mess, of course, but that's a piece of art right down inside of there, and we'll talk about that a little bit later here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to line it with a couple of paper towels, clean paper towels, and these are Viva paper towels. They're really, really strong and absorbent. And I'm just going to kind of toss my gauze right here, and I'm going to grab myself some distress spray stains. So I've got my little spray stain box, and those beside me are my signatures getting ready to go into the journal. So, I've got blues, and I've got turquoises, and I've got browns, and greens, so I need to choose colors that kind of match. So here I'm going in with peacock feather, and then I'm going to choose, what do I have here? This is, golly, I thought that I looked at the colors. Brown. Brown. And then this one's salvage patina, and a little bit of pumice stone. The brown, I believe, was vintage photo. And I'm just going to kind of open this out and move it around so I can get ink all throughout. And here I'm going in with some rusty hinge. And antique linen, which I do everything in antique linen. I should buy a whole case of it. Now, this is the messy part. You can do this with gloves if you want to, but y'all know me. I don't mind getting my hands dirty at all. So I'm just going to kind of roll it up and then open it back out. But look at that pretty design in the bottom of my box. What am I going to do about that? Yeah, my hands are a mess. So I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to do just a solid color. If I get some of those other colors on it, that's okay too. But I like to have some just a solid color, and definitely not white. If you were doing a shabby chic type of journal or something, then you could just leave it white. But I really do like adding color and aging it. And see, I've got that ink from my hand, so it may get a little bit on there. And yeah, let's just wipe my hands off with it. Good idea. They're already dirty, so I might as well. And the reason for rolling it around like that is to kind of get the spray stain dispersed throughout. So I don't have to use as much spray stain, because otherwise if I just sprayed every single little spot, then I'd use half a bottle here. And I don't even mind if some of it stays white, but I will go ahead and cover those white parts just because I have a goal in mind here. And so let's grab here. This is going to be the vintage photo. So keeping it in the same color family. And I cut out a bunch of my video, but you see that gorgeous thing on the bottom there? We are going to do something with that paper towel. And so the part of the video that I accidentally cut out is the part where I dried that. But it's perfectly dry, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to iron it a little bit to make sure I get all the moisture out. And I'm ironing on with my little mini iron on that folder on my silicone mat. I've never had a problem, but if you're worried about it, definitely iron at an ironing board, but put something on, you know, both sides if you don't want to wreck your iron. This is my craft iron, so it's my get things dirty iron. I don't care, and it cleans off anyway. But I'm just slowly going back and forth, kind of pressing that out. And you notice that that paper towel sort of stretched where it got wet, and it won't go back into shape. So yeah, don't even worry about it, or coat it some more if you want to. But see, I've got this just beautiful colors here, and the crazy, crazy texture. And that's the point of why even bother keep these, besides the fact that you just wasted, you know, all your ink on it. It's a shame to throw it away. So I'll get it nice and flat and dry, and I've got 2 pieces because it was 2 paper towels. And I'm just going to do the same on this one. And, you know, surprisingly, most of the spray stains go together, no matter what color you seem to spray on there. If you get it too thick, obviously you're going to get brown, but hey, brown is my goal right here. So, but I decided that I would experiment, and I want to do something with these paper towels. So just kind of flipping it over, ironing the other side, waiting till I don't see steam come out anymore. Because, again, I want it as dry as possible for the next step. And then I will set my iron aside here. And I'm going to grab a piece of watercolor paper, because we're going to be using wet medium. And so you want something heavy that will stand water. Quite a bit of water, even though we're not really using water. It's still, there's a lot of moisture in the product that we will be using. So I'll just tear a piece of this out, and it doesn't matter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get that red thing out of my way first of all, and I am going to grab my distress brush, and you can use any brush, it doesn't matter, just something that can spread easily. And this one was basically built for this collage paste. And so I will be using the Tim Holtz Distress Collage paste. And I will coat the paper, and I'm just going to do half at a time. You can use Mod Podge, you can use school glue, use what you have. I have this, and I do love this product. So I'm just going to lay the paper towel right on there. And the reason for doing that is to reinforce it, because I don't want it to tear on me later when I'm cutting it up. Because I won't, you know, obviously I won't use the edges. Well, I might use the edges, but as a rule, I wouldn't really necessarily use them. But they do look kind of cool how they feather out. And again, I just did half at a time because this stuff dries really fast. And you could pre-cut out what you don't want of that, but I never know what I'm going to want or not want, so I'm taking it all. And then I'm just going to smooth that out with my fingers. Make sure it's good and stuck down, and then I'm going to take the Mod Podge, or the Distress Collage paste, and just kind of run it over the whole thing where the colors are, to kind of help it stick down. And again, it'll reinforce the strength of it, and it'll make it so you can stamp over it, paint over it, whatever you might want to do in your next step of your card or your collage or your junk journal or whatever you're working with. I can't vouch for any other paper towels. I use the Viva. You'd have to try it. You know, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's just a paper towel you're going to throw away anyway, right? And try it, you know, with clear glue. You don't necessarily want to use white glue. You want something that will dry clear. Because if you use white glue, it's going to dull down your colors. Now, this Collage medium, it dries matte. And that's one thing that I just really love about it, is that it does dry matte. But you can kind of see it when it's going on. And I'm just making sure I'm getting a good heavy coat on it, which is why I said you need these to be nice and dry. So next I'm going to let these air dry. I don't want to dry them with a blow dryer. And now they're dry. And I've torn kind of the edges off here. And the paper will come off. The paper towel will come off the watercolor paper if you pull hard enough. But you can see what happens. It kind of disintegrates, which is to me a really cool look. So I like that look. Kind of the shabby, grungy, torn things look. So I'm just tearing off all this excess here. And I might save it and I might toss it. You never know. Never know what I'm going to do with stuff, as evidenced by what you see me doing here. Oh my goodness, but I couldn't. When Tim Holtz came out with those distress mica sprays over the holidays, I had some gorgeous paper towels that went into the garbage, and I just don't want to do that anymore. No, not when I could have just a really cool organic looking paper. So I'm just kind of cutting around this, the parts that I'm not going to use. And what I want to do here is I want to make a pocket for my junk journal. So I will go ahead and grab my Hero Arts Infinity dies, rectangle dies. You can cut this with a ruler, you can cut it with your scissors, you can do whatever you like. I just want to use one of these dies so that I can get it nice and straight. And I'm just going to lay the die and kind of preview what it's going to look like when I've cut it out. So I do have to trim some off because I need it to fit through my Vagabond too. So I'll just cut some off so it'll fit. And then preview what part I want to keep in my pocket. And I think that I actually want to keep some of that rough edge right there. So that's what I will do. And I'm just going to take a piece of this yellow tape. This is from Spellbinders. I can't find my mint tape, y'all. I think I might have given it all away. I don't know. So I'm going to use the yellow tape and tape it to the outside because I don't want it to rip my paper, and run it through my die cut machine. You could make some gorgeous butterflies with this paper, and it's really, really strong. So it'll stand up to, you know, a larger die on its own because of the, you know, the manila folder that I put underneath, or excuse me, because of the watercolor paper that's rather heavy anyway, and then all of the collage medium. I would recommend using a matte medium, and I know Mod Podge comes in matte. Okay, now we've got this cut out. Let me just move that aside, and it feels really neat. It's got that, what do they call it? AMSRS, ASMR, whatever. It feels cool. I'm going to cut with my little, this is a little Fiskars 1-inch punch, and I'm gonna punch a finger notch here, and it's you can see how heavy thick that is because I barely got it in there. I have to give it some good pressure to knock it out, but there we go. And what I'll do next is I'll go ahead and decorate it a bit, and I'm going to distress it. And it's kind of cool, there's like all these little white fibers that I have no idea where they came from, but they must have crunched up with the paper towel. I don't know, but it's neat. So I'm going in here with Vintage Photo, and I'm just going to grunge this edge up here, and I'm going to go around all the edges with it. Just to kind of, you know, make it, again, cohesive with the work. And I know I showed you in one of the videos that I was going off, my color scheme is based off of a paper from Tim Holtz Abandoned paper pad. And I decided midstream to switch to Walnut Stain because it's a little bit darker, and I felt like I needed it to be a bit darker. So I'm just rubbing this really tattered and beat up foam that's on my scrapbook.com ink blending tool. I'm going to use it until it falls apart, and then I'll get another one on there. But I like the way the foam works. So here's some of the cool mesh that we made, and I'm just going to cut a piece off with my scissors and decide where I want to put it and crunch it up a little bit. So it's almost got an undersea feel, kind of. And then I'm going to take an embellishment that I made and glue it on top there. And that will be a pocket for my journal. I'm also going to be stitching around the edges with my sewing machine because I just like that look. So it'll appear that it was sewn on the journal, but it won't be sewn on the journal because the pages, most of the pages are too flimsy, I feel like, to sew stuff on. And once you've got a signature in, you can't really sew on it just unless you have a really, like a quilting machine or something with a really, really deep throat. So I just used my reptile adhesive, and you could use any glue that you prefer, and glued that down. And I will show you in the next video how I made that and how you can make your own. And, well, you know what? I'm just not going to let that little piece that I cut out go to waste. So I'm just going to pop it in here as, I don't know, a piece. I don't know what you want to call it. It doesn't have a name. It just has an aesthetic. So it's a little extra pop of color right there. So I'm going to let this dry, and I'm going to go to my sewing machine. So I've got this all sewn up here, and that's what it's going to look like. And I'm going to go ahead and dirty my thread because the thread in my machine is an off-white, and I don't really necessarily want any white on this piece. I probably will leave those threads, so, or not. I'm going to leave part of them, so I am coloring them all the way out. So that's kind of what that's going to look like, and I'll go ahead and I'll grab one of my signatures out of here so you can have an idea of what that's going to look like inside of the journal. And you see I have a lot of them pre-made, and they're just plain old coffee dyed paper, but this is one of my cover pages, and this pocket will probably go on the cover page. So it would go something in there, something like that, and then you could put a journaling card, you could put a tag. Let's see if this guy will fit. Well, I don't want to cover up all his goodies there. So let's just flip them over, just kind of for an example of how that pocket would work in the junk journal. So that's it. You got a two for this one, the easy part and the little bit more difficult, but way worth it part of dyeing that or salvaging that paper towel. And yeah, don't try it on cotton balls. It doesn't work. Or you'll waste a lot of your ink because it just disappears into them. Well, that's all I have for today, folks. I thank you for stopping by, and I will show you how to make those. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos in the future, consider subscribing to my channel. And if you want to know when I upload a new video, hit that notification bell. Hey, thanks y'all for watching. Have a great day.